your balls with semen. That is the message of G.I. Joe Retaliation. This movie is a definition of testosterone-fueled cinema. It's seriously like a little boy's wet dream. They've got buff guys, guns, gadgets, swords, explosions, soldiers, ninjas. Everything except titties. Now, you're probably thinking, this guy loves the movie. No. There are things about it that I do love, but then there are things about it that are quite boring. The first act is great. Awesome set of characters. Great action sequences. A real sense of fun. But one of the best things about this movie is barely in the film. That, my friends, is Channing Tatum. Him and Dwayne Johnson have such good chemistry together, and there's a natural charm that's brought to life with just his presence. However, he's barely in it. Then there's Dwayne, not The Rock, Johnson. This guy just gets better every movie. He is a new lead of the G.I. Joes, and he was perfectly cast to helm this movie and take over yet again another franchise. If you've ever wondered what ethnicity The Rock is, well, they answered in this film. He's black. There's some awesome action sequences in the first half of Act 2, especially the mountain fighting ninja scene. Snake Eyes, played by Ray Park, you might know him better as Darth Maul, is a badass. I enjoyed watching Storm Shadow. He too is a badass. But after the midpoint of this film, it starts to drag. The film has really no characterization. At first it does, but then they drop it. The film suddenly loses its sense of fun. The action sequences begin to feel very repetitive. Even with a shot of London being blown the fuck up, you're still just like, eh. One of the biggest problems with this film is they kill off like all the G.I. Joes in the beginning of the movie, leaving you with just 3 remaining Joes. Dwayne Johnson and 2 other very boring people. One's a guy named Flint. At first he's cool, rebellious, does some cool flips. Then he's suddenly the most boring dude in this movie. Then there's a hot bitch. She's hot. That's about as far as her talent goes. There's also so many bad guys that nothing feels personal. It's like, which enemy do we really want to see die? And towards the end of this movie, the movie starts to lose sight of who the lead is. The biggest disappointment was the use of Bruce Willis's cameo. He's not bad in the movie. They just didn't know how to take advantage of the old guy. The Rock says, he's the reason we're called Joes. They get to Bruce Willis, and here we go, game changer. But no, they just turn him into a simple, small character. And just because it's Bruce Willis does not mean the character is suddenly interesting. But honestly, the first half of this film is so much fun, the last half has so much explosions, that you just feel like fucking people up by the end of this movie. So for all the action, and I'd have to say the first half, let me get straight to the point here. All in all, I gotta say, G.I. Joe Retaliation got it right. Alright guys, thanks for checking out my video. Why don't you go ahead and scroll to the comment box and tell me your points below. If you want to see a more in-depth review of G.I. Joe Retaliation, check out my show called Reasons to See that I do with my buddy Jerry, where we give you reasons to see and not to see G.I. Joe Retaliation. Last but not least, if you want to get updated every time a new review is out, go ahead and subscribe to my channel on the link